29 years to the day since SACP leader Chris Hani was gunned down outside his home in Boksburg. Hani was also the chief of staff of Umkhonto weSizwe. He was assassinated by Janusz Waluś on the 10th of April back in 1993. So every year, his death is commemorated in Ekurhuleni, and that's where we also find our reporter Tshegohaco Moagi, who's watching that leg of the commemorations today. And it's also at this time, Tshegohaco, that we're also reminded of just how far the country has moved from the kinds of ideals that leaders like Chris Hani held dearly to them, ideals, frankly, that cost them their lives.
Absolutely, it definitely is, Ayanda, and when you think about such a day as 1993, the 10th of April, when he was assassinated, it was a day where, of course, it left a lot of shock within the country, but a real turning point, if you'd like to say, as well, within South Africa. And as you've mentioned, Ekurhuleni, every year on the 10th of April, they commemorate the life and times of Chris Hani, the SACP leader. But let's just get more information then from the mayor of Ekurhuleni today about the plans, but also how she feels as being part now of the DA-led administration. Tanya Campbell, thank you so much for your time this morning. Mayor, let's just start off with, when Chris Hani was assassinated in 1993, it was like quite a turning point for South Africa, and now you find yourself as well in this position as the mayor of Ekurhuleni, a turning point as well for the city of Ekurhuleni.
Yes, I think what it shows us with history as well is the fight for human rights. And that is something what Chris Hani taught us in those days, and people like Tata Madiba. We have got our struggle heroes that did a lot for us in this country, fought for our rights, and as the mayor, I acknowledge that and I honour that, because that is exactly what we stand for, fighting for the rights, fighting for people's lives, making sure that people... today we're dedicating to health on the 3 H's from Chris Hani, but honouring what he stood for and what he did for this country.
What do you think people need to learn, especially the younger generation, about who Chris Hani was as a man and as the leader of the SACP?
I think what people need to learn is when you look back in history, you can see how the time, the family time, and not just that, what they did for this country, what they gave up for this country, how they actually fought for our rights and everybody's rights within this country. The younger generation are sitting in a situation where they do not have to do that. They have got people like myself, like others, who are carrying on that history, carrying on that message, and making sure that that never happens in our country again, making sure that everyone's rights are protected, making sure that everybody is respected within our country. And I think it's very important that our younger generation acknowledge that and carry it through in their generation going forward as well.
It's interesting, Mayor, that you say that, because, as we speak now, there's a lot of tension, so to speak, within the country when it comes to undocumented migrants and other issues, really, within the country as a whole. What do you think we need to learn from the morals that Chris Hani had, and how he would possibly be feeling at this time when there's so much uncertainty and so much tenseness within the country?
Yes, I think in life and in history there will always be a tense situation, because you have people that have got different beliefs. But if you keep at the forefront people's human rights, and even with the migrants that you have mentioned now, you have to always look at people's human rights and how you treat people and how people should be treated. We are civilians of this country, no matter which regions you are coming from. And I think we need to make sure that we abide by those type of acknowledgements and lead our lives with those morals. I think moral degeneration has got a lot to do with behavior today as well. Specifically when you look at the younger generation. And it's us as the older generation and the parents that have to still instill those morals within our generations going forward.
So what could we then expect today during this commemoration?
Today is a respect not only for Chris Hani but for his family as well. I have sat down with Mrs. Hani. I think what people also do not realize is what the family has offered up during the struggle years, herself as well as the wife, her family, the children. It is a respect to not only for the struggle that was fought in this country for equality, but also to give respect to Chris Hani and his family, and acknowledge what they have done and the huge efforts and sacrifices they have done within our country for us to reach this point where we are now a non-racial country. They have made that change for us in that country as well and was part of that in the struggle.
All right, thank you so much. Tanya Campbell, she is the mayor of the city of Ekurhuleni, really just giving us details about, what people should take from Chris Hani and the values that he had, but also the plans for today. Ayanda?